So my name's Esther. I graduated from the University of York in July 2017. I recently started working for York City Council in the Customer Access and Assessment team. I started working in September and I'm currently a couple of months into the ASYE programme. So choosing social work, it sounds like an absolute cliche, I guess, to say I wanted to help people. I'd always enjoyed working with people, and social work is a great career to go into if you want to continue to work with people. And I felt I had a very privileged upbringing, kind of a very normal nuclear family, and I guess it bothered me that you can't choose what you're born into, and that kind of other people were suffering because of that, and I wanted to, I guess, make a bit of a difference. Yeah, so choosing York for me, there was a few kind of factors. I think the biggest one was when I went and looked around York, it felt like home. I walked onto the campus and I was immediately comfortable. The course material was fantastic, really variable, and I loved being able to choose a module in my third year, which allowed me to specialise in something that I was interested in. They have incredibly small class sizes. I think we had a class size of 29 when we started, which compared to a lot of other courses, they can have kind of 70 to 100 people. It meant that we really bonded as a course, and that we got more kind of specialised support, and we didn't really do the formal lecture thing because we were able to have discussions because we were such a small class. The best thing about studying at York was kind of the variety in the course. It's very easy, I think, for social work courses to become very children's focused because there are significantly more jobs in children's, but at York they did a real variety and some really interesting subjects, stuff like sexuality, migration, with a lot of service user participation as well, which was great. I really enjoyed that. So my first placement was at Families Forward. They do supervised contact for separated parents, which was at times challenging. I learnt a lot. It really helped with my resilience, and I learnt a lot about conflict management. My second placement was in the Learning Disability and Transitions team at York City Council, which was incredible. The team there were unbelievably supportive. I got to see a real variety of work, working with kind of 18-year-olds looking at their education options, working with hoarders who were kind of in their mid-60s, and kind of everything in between. The Learning Disability team at York is a true multidisciplinary team, so there's everybody from social workers to physios to psychiatrists, and it was incredible to be part of a real multidisciplinary team where you could walk across the office and talk to a mental health colleague and say, oh, I think this might need some help, and then be able to give advice. That was amazing. My time with the council so far, I interviewed for the position not long before I graduated and started in the middle of September. It's been a bit of a learning curve. The customer access and assessment team is different. It's very fast-paced, and because you do everything from 18 to the end of life, you never know what you're coming into in the morning, and that's been really interesting. It's pushed me in great ways, and the team is amazing. We're quite a small team, and everybody's been incredibly supportive, really welcoming, and made no question feel too small or too silly to be answered. So I started my ASYE on my actual first day here. My first day was going to the University of Huddersfield to enrol on the academic side. I've been really enjoying kind of learning different things. You get really close supervision, you get weekly supervision in your first 3 months of your ASYE. I have two supervisors, one who does reflective supervision with me and one who does kind of caseload supervision, which is really nice. The support is really great. I feel absolutely able to say to my manager, I don't feel ready for this yet, and I feel protected in that sense, in the sense of if I say actually I'm not up for this, I think it's too soon, they're saying okay, that's great, we'll do that later in your ASYE. It's lovely to set targets, so you can see kind of what you're achieving. And it's good to have that time to really reflect on your work and see the difference between being a student and being a social worker. And you get your protected study time, so you get a day a fortnight, again, to stay on top of your ASYE work, and do some general reading. And the training opportunities have been massive. I've been on so much training, and the council are paying for me to go on some specialised training in a couple of weeks because it was something I was interested in, and it was one of my goals for my ASYE. And yeah, they've been really supportive with that. I think the best bit of advice I can give you if you're going to do a social work degree is don't go in at 18. I personally took 3 gap years and worked and travelled and generally just gained some life experience, and it has been the biggest benefit to me to see what the world has to offer before going into social work, and I think it opened up my eyes to a lot of things. Friends of mine that went in at 18 were equally successful, but without the real world experience found it much more difficult to apply it to the situations. It was very theoretical for them. And take your time, it's not a rush, do your research about what you want to do, and if you do it, surround yourself with a really good support system. It is a difficult course, it takes up a lot of your time. Your placements are probably half the course, and it's basically like working a 9 to 5 plus your academic work. I personally lived with non-social workers, and I think that saved me because I didn't go home and talk about it. I had a really supportive group who made me do things that weren't social work. Invest in your hobbies, invest in your friends, and overall just look after yourself if you're going to undertake the course. The life experience for me, I think, saved me. Yeah. When they're talking in lectures, if you don't have anything to apply it to, it's really difficult to see how it might work in reality. And don't throw in the towel before you've started a placement. I remember about halfway through the course before I started my first placement being like, am I sure this is what I want to do when doing all the theory? And then the second I started my placement, I remembered exactly why I wanted to be a social worker.